we're going to start today's show with a Charlie Kirk prediction that has come to pass, it seems.
Yeah, we saw this, and we know there's a lot going on, but we really wanted to flag this. I think people would like it.
Yes.
It gets at a lot of what made people love Charlie so much, which was he was always focused on the future, on building the coalition, on finding the common ground, on beating the real bad guys, which is the insane communist anti-civilization left that wants to destroy us all.
The Red-Green Alliance, which is what he was focused on at the end of his life, and we will remain focused on because it remains the key threat, I believe, to the future of our civilization. There's many threats, but that is the key one. And, of course, the prediction that we are referring to is the reuniting of Elon Musk and President Donald Trump, which took place last night officially at a black-tie dinner at the White House that was honoring Mohammed bin Salman.
Yeah, I guess Red-Green
Crown
Alliance,
Prince.
They're not. Yeah, so we had
It was
a
an
state
investment
visit.
dinner.
Yeah, we had a state visit of the Saudi Crown Prince. Their first state visit in I think 7 years, announcing more investments of Saudi oil money into the United States, some strategic partnerships there. This is, of course, part of his broader push to also bring peace to the Middle East. But Elon Musk was there because Elon Musk is apparently going to be investing his own AI initiatives in data centers in Saudi Arabia. Don't need to get into all of that. The point is, it was the first time Musk was at the White House since he left back in May.
So, well, in June 2025 is where the feud really took off. And, of course, Elon invested about $300 million into the election of President Trump in 2024. He headed up the DOGE Office of Government Efficiency in the White House. Then they had this bitter public feud in which...
beautiful bill. He said it was too much spending.
Yep.
He said it was... He basically said it was a disaster. He said Trump would be in the Epstein files. He was saying lots of pretty low-blow stuff.
He ended up deleting that one.
Yes.
And he admitted it was probably a bit too far.
Yes, and so that was all blowing up. I remember the day it happened, we went live on Thought Crime. I think it was the normal night for it, but if it wasn't, we may have gone live just because it was so dramatic. And that was June 5th, and during that show, Charlie made this prediction. Let's play clip 241.
Donald Trump's in a feud. Men fight. Big news, big deal. Get over it. Focus on the policies, focus on the victories, and they will continue.
It's all going to be okay. Again, I will say right here, you can mark it down. By Christmas, maybe before that, there will be like a surprise Elon Musk comes for dessert at Mar-a-Lago. You know, leaked, New York Times, Elon Musk spotted at Mar-a-Lago. I'm just saying.
If you nail that one, I guess I'll just be really impressed. And
I could be wrong. I'm just saying, by Christmas, don't be shocked.
Well, here we are. It's not even Thanksgiving yet.
My favorite part of that is you chiming in. And by the way, I barely recognized you because you were pretty clean shaven at the time. But I love that you have to chime in and be like, if you nail that one, okay.
I'll be really impressed. And I'm really impressed. I am really impressed. And another part of it that I think a lot of people have already realized, and you mentioned leaked New York Times. So this is the article, the New York Times, 2 days ago, and they say, quote, September appeared to be a turning point in Mr. Musk's relationship with Mr. Trump. Musk said that he had been invited to a high-profile dinner with tech executives hosted by Trump. He sent one of his aides in his place, but then Mr. Musk approached Mr. Trump at the memorial service for Charlie Kirk. They had an animated conversation for several minutes. And yeah, we're seeing it there, that conversation they had that was captured on television. Mr. Musk, who friends say was very emotionally affected by Mr. Kirk's death, posted a picture online of the exchange. That image of that exchange, I believe it got, I think he said for Charlie, and I think it got 76 million views.
Yeah, 283. There it is right there.
For Charlie, yep, 76 million.
So I just want, like, that picture, I remember I was backstage at the memorial, and somebody showed me a picture of them, and I posted it, and I said, I hope that they're looking at each other saying, for Charlie. And about an hour later, Musk tweeted that, for Charlie. And I can't prove it, but I like to think that Elon saw that tweet and thought, you know what, let's do it.
Yeah,
and it makes my heart happy because I know, and you know how much this meant to Charlie.
Yes, and it's not that they're aligned on everything. It's what Charlie would care about. It's being aligned on the core things. He said there was another bid he did in July when they were still fighting, and he said, I think they're going to realize that they maybe disagree on spending, they may disagree on particulars of immigration policy. And this was, Musk was talking about starting his own party, running third party. And he said, I think Musk will realize that if I just allow Zoran Mamdani or these other radical left-wing lunatics to come back into power, I'm going to not get any of the changes I want on spending, and I'm still going to get all of their, radically anti-industry, anti-free market, anti-American, anti-white people values. They're all going to come flooding back and will destroy this country because of some personal beef that we have. And he really, he nailed that one, that we have to move on from those things. We have to be able to build our alliances, maintain those alliances, even when it's difficult. I want to play another Charlie clip here. Let's do, I think we have, let's do clip 254.
Now, it might seem as if this is irreconcilable between President Trump and Elon Musk. How could they ever come back together after all this back and forth? It's just as nasty as you could imagine. And it seems as if that it's only going to increase. But President Trump has in front of us a rather dramatic and telling track record of being able to reconcile and work with people that were otherwise considered to be sworn enemies of MAGA.
He nailed it. We got a great email here from Kevin. He says, this fulfilled prediction by Charlie is precisely the reason I said for years that Charlie was the true heir to the wisdom of Rush Limbaugh, his favorite radio host.
Yes, he was.
And prayers as you continue to fight for what Charlie was fighting for. Thank you, Kevin. And anyone else who has thoughts, please email us. Freedom at Charlie.
We're going to try and get our email reading game back on track. Yesterday, we didn't get to as many as we wanted to. So today, please send emails, freedom@charliekirk.com. This all reminds me, by the way, I have not stopped thinking about Helen Andrews, our interview. If you haven't seen it, please check it out on the podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, wherever. It was a really important conversation. I love that it was coming from a woman, because one of the things she talked about, it needed to come from a woman. We'd have been in trouble. But so she writes in this article, it was the great feminization, and this is a particular skill set of men. Now, we love you women. You guys are truly important. We have a bunch of ladies that work on this team, and they are amazing. But this is one of the pieces she wrote in this. She's talked about how men over time have developed customs and approaches to war, and this reminds me of Elon and Trump. And Charlie understood this. She says, the point of war is to settle disputes between two tribes, but it only works if peace is restored after the dispute is settled. Men, therefore, develop methods for reconciling with opponents and learning to live in peace with people they were fighting yesterday. Females, even in primate species, are slower to reconcile than males. This is a guy thing. And Charlie, he genuinely, innately understood.
I think it's because he went through so many of these. We'd see some of those that were behind the scenes. Just you'd have the grind, the fighting. You'd have these attacks, and it'd be a fake out. Oh no, actually, we don't want this fight. And he saw that, and he was, he told the audience about it.
And you could tell it was two alphas, raging against one another. Trump's threatening to hold back subsidies.
They might rage against each other again. They might fight again.
They might.
Yeah.
This doesn't have to be forever. But listen, here's the thing. What did Elon said? We must hang together, because if not, we will surely hang alone.
Hang separately.
And that is absolutely true. We need each other. The movement needs each other. I think there's a purging. I'm going to make my own prediction here. There's a lot of talking about the infighting on the right, especially in the wake of Charlie's death. We will come back together. There is a purging. There is a flexing. There is a consternation happening, and that is sometimes really healthy. We will come back together. You watch.
I agree with his opinion, and I think that his predictions will be true one day. I am so sorry that Charlie died.
There is a back and forth going on. I mean, it first flared up during the One Big Beautiful Bill about this moratorium on states putting forth any regulation. So at that time, we brought in Stephen Miller. Stephen and Charlie had a big conversation about it, ended up going viral. And it was about this idea of, can states like California or New York issue regulations when it comes to AI? And basically was saying, we don't want them to do that. We don't want the woke states, the Democrat-led states, to be leading the charge on this. You disagree with this position. Now lawmakers are once again trying to stuff it into the NDAA, I believe. So, Mike, give us your perspective on it. I'm all ears.
No, I don't necessarily disagree with Stephen Miller on the need for a federal standard for AI. I guess it's the tech companies are the only companies in America who think they need federal preemption, but I'm not necessarily opposed to federal preemption. They're not asking for federal preemption with federal rules of the road. They're asking for AI amnesty, like they did with Section 230 back in 1996, where these small tech platforms had Section 230 amnesty and then antitrust amnesty, and then we got Google, Amazon, Facebook, and Apple that crush competition, shutter small businesses, and cancel conservatives and others with whom we disagree. We can't repeat the mistakes of Section 230 with AI. And so I understand that we need to be competitive across the world and compete with China and compete with our other adversaries. But we also need federal rules of the road if we're going to have federal preemption so state and local governments cannot touch AI. For example, I call this the 4 Cs. Are we going to have protections for children from online abuse? Are we going to have protections for conservatives so we don't get canceled by these AI platforms? Are we going to have protections for communities so we make sure that we don't, for example, jack up the water and electricity prices in these small communities so the working class have to foot the bill for these AI data centers that consume all this water and electricity? Are we going to have zoning protections in communities so we don't put AI data centers in the middle of neighborhoods? These big tech oligarchs, the AI bros, say no, that they should have full amnesty from state and local and then no federal rules of the road so they can just do whatever the hell they want, like they did on Section 230. And my response to that is hell no. Why would we let Meta, for example, and Google, for example, who hate us as conservatives, run us over and make trillions of dollars on the backs of conservatives, children, content creators, and communities? If you're not going to protect the 4 Cs, they don't have 60 votes to get this done. They thought they had 60 votes 4 months ago at the end of June, at the beginning of July. They thought this thing was going to pass and must pass legislation, and then the Article 3 project kicked into gear and it went down 99-1, including the lead sponsor, Ted Cruz, voting against his own bill. I'll tell the AI bros the same thing. If you try to do this again, we'll kick your butts again. And if you're going to get 60 votes, you're going to protect the 4 Cs.
Yeah, this is a Trump Truth Social 169. He says, investment in AI is helping to make the U.S. Economy the hottest in the world. This is image 169. Thanks, guys. But overregulation by the states is threatening to undermine this growth. Some states are even trying to embed DEI ideology into AI models, producing woke AI. Remember Black George Washington? We must have one federal standard instead of a patchwork of 50 state regulatory regimes. So and actually, by the way, in the final line there, Mike, he says we can do this in a way that protects children and prevents censorship. So is the middle ground here spearheading a federal effort to make sure that we have AI, a regulatory regime at the federal level, so we don't have this patchwork? It sounds like you're open-minded to that.
Yeah, and I'm working with the president and the vice president and their teams on that right now. But they're going to protect children, conservatives, communities, and creators, or they're not going to get this done. It's very easy to go on conservative media and get people to light up their 2 home state senators and their U.S. House rep, and then all of a sudden this AI amnesty that they think they're going to jam through at 4 o'clock in the morning goes down 99-1. So if they want to play this game again, I'll kick their asses again. So
I'm convinced, Mike. I think you're right. I think there's some money involved in some of this push to keep getting this bill that went down in flames back into the NDAA. I think you're right. I think we need to scrap it. I think we need to get it into federal level. I think that's the key here.